89 State Street in Saginaw, or online at westsidedecoratingcenter.com. I think, Jonathan, my next project may be hardwood floors, and I've taken a few samples home from Westside Decorating. I may have to save a few more nickels and give plasma before we get there, because that is not a cheap endeavor.
No,
but
that's a big one.
That is a big one. But, I think that's the route we want to go long term. But seriously, folks, thank you to Westside Decorating Center for sponsoring the show, but more importantly, for being a dynamic small business here in Saginaw and in the Great Lakes Bay region. So before we get started with our guests this hour, Chris Eastlick, Matthew Mondro, Terry Henney, if any of you are listening, I'm looking for you, because this is ridiculous. This is May. I need 75 and sunny. I want to see a bunny hopping across the backyard. I want to sit out by a fire and have an adult beverage. This is ridiculous.
Next week,
I
think.
I'm holding all three responsible, and anyone else who is in the meteorological field that I'm not thinking of, but I'm going to start with those three. It's Mondro, it's Henney, and it's Eastlick. The three of you are on my hit list for today. Also going to just remind everyone, we've been talking about this constantly, and we're going to keep talking about it, but I think it's the right lead-in for today. It is Give Local Day here in the Great Lakes Bay region. It's our opportunity as citizens of this region to give back to our local charities. And one of the ones that is definitely highlighted today is the Children's Grief Center of the Great Lakes Bay region. You can find them, and I'll find out for sure here in a second, but I know through Give Local Midland for sure. You can go on there, and if you type them in or go through the list, you're going to see that organization. And that's who we're joined with here this hour. Chris Sabrin, the Executive Director of the Children's Grief Center. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
And Gabby Gauthier, Program Director for the Grief Center. Good morning, Gabby.
Good morning.
So we've had Chris on the show, so we're going to ignore him for a few minutes, Gabby.
Perfect.
You're the new girl, so we have to ask, who are you? How long have you worked at the Children's Grief Center?
Yeah, I've been at the Grief Center for 7 years.
So you're not the new
I'm
girl.
not. I have
girl.
seniority, actually. I've been there 7 years. I started as an intern, and then they couldn't get rid of me.
You know
I
what?
Stuck around.
That happens sometimes. Even myself, I was just asked to come in one day and fill in like 4 years ago just for one show, and Jonathan Dent's like, the guy won't go away. So that happens. That definitely happens.
Yeah.
So tell me, because when you work in the nonprofit space, it's challenging work. And we're going to jump into more what you do as an organization. What has made you stay 7 years?
Yeah. I guess to start is, like, when I started as an intern, this wasn't my goal. Kids really scared me. I didn't want to work with kids. I wanted to go into the hospice realm. Grief was my forte, but kids kind of scared me. But once I got into the work and worked with kids, it's like they're so impressionable, and they just want to talk about stuff, and they just want to have fun, and they want to be kids. And a lot of times when they don't talk about their grief, they can't be kids. So we allow them to be kids at the Grief Center.
So Gabby, I want to try to be lighthearted a little bit here, but it's a very serious issue. I am into grief as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Michigan State alum and fan, and the football team offers me lots of grief.
Sure,
but
yeah.
definitely not the same way. When you say that's your thing, it's unfortunately been mine too, but very differently.
Yeah, I could see that.
So Chris, like I said, as much fun as we're having on a Tuesday, this is a very serious topic.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the organization and exactly what you do as an organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Children's Grief Center of the Great Lakes Bay region serves kids ages 4 to 18 who are grieving a death. We also serve their caregivers as well. So we do that in two major ways. Our program has 3 sites across Midland Bay and Saginaw counties, and we offer evening peer support groups where the kids and their caregivers will come in. Every time we have a group, we offer a meal, and then we have a strategy for the night, or we have a theme for the night. Mm-hmm. And to get started, we have them all together for the meal, like I said. Then we split them up into age-appropriate groups, our littles, our Elmers, our middlers, and our teens, and they talk about that theme for the night in age-appropriate language. And then the magic really happens, and I use the word magic a lot, Matt, when I talk about this, and I don't mean it lightly. Gabby talked about already that, the kids can talk about their grief, And when they come together in these peer support groups, they don't feel alone anymore. Before I became the executive director, I was in education. I was a teacher and school administrator, and saw that some of the kids that were grieving, they were in their classrooms, they felt by themselves. But when they come together at the grief center, they're not, and that magic happens. After about a half an hour, those kids come together and they play. They all play together. We've got lots of activities, high energy activities. We have arts and crafts. And after about 45 minutes, they come back into those age appropriate groups, review the evening, talk about what they loved about group and what they're looking forward to. And then they're on their way. But another part of our program is that the adult caregivers that come with them are invited to take part in their own peer support that night, their own concurrent group. And the magic again about that is they talk about the same types of ideas and themes that the kids talk about. So when they reunite at the end of the night, they have a common language, and they immediately start talking about what they learned that evening. Secondly, we take our program into the schools during the day, and our school program has just exploded. When I came on board, we were in about 10 schools, and as of this school year, we'll have taken our peer support program model in. We shrink it down to about an hour into about 55 schools across the Great Lakes Bay region to help schools close that gap, to help kids that are grieving be more successful in school and be more successful and happier emotionally.
So, Chris, a couple follow-up questions. The first one, how many kids per year do you see?
This year, between our school program and our evening program, we topped 700 kids.
And when you're in the schools, so I'm going to guess first and foremost, it's for kids who have lost someone at home, right, or in their life. But do you ever go into the schools, work with a school when the school itself loses a child and the classmates and teachers and everyone involved is really struggling with the death? And we see it, unfortunately, too often. It could be suicide. It can be sudden death. It can be a car accident. Someone is ill and they, had cancer or something. We lose kids too, and it's a terrible thing for a school building when that happens. Do you work on both of those?
We do.
And how does that work?
Yeah, we'll toss it to Gabby for that one.
Yeah, we're here to support the schools in whatever way we can. A lot of times schools have a structure in place already, so they have the team to be able to talk to the kids. We offer a response group if it's needed. We always reach out to these schools who have lost a student or a teacher, and remind them that we're here to provide peer support in the weeks and months and years after a death. We have done response groups pretty shortly after a death too, and we go in and we meet with the kids and we do a memory box in honor of that person who died, and we give it to their family. We're really there to just hold space with the students if they need it, but we're always here if those plans aren't in place from the school perspective, but we're here even if they are to provide extra support.
Well, hey, appreciate this dialogue. I want to continue it because you have a lot of amazing events coming up. There are different ways that people can support the organization. We want to hear more, but we're going to take a break, and we'll be back after these messages.
We're proud to make
run into organization like yours that are here in the region doing great work every day. Why don't, Chris, we start there? How can people support with Give Local, and does this go to your endowment?
It does. Yeah, the Give Local Day today goes directly to our endowment fund. We hold our endowment fund with the Midland Community Foundation. And yeah, every dollar that goes in there doesn't give today, but it gives for the future of the Grief Center. Our endowment fund is a huge asset to the Grief Center, and anybody that is willing to give to that, they're helping the Grief Center be around for many years to come.
So we were just talking about what's going on May 17th, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys have a big day.
We do.
Jonathan Dent has sent a note to corporate. We're looking to get the Alpha Media corporate jet over to come to your event. It is the day at MBS Airport. Tell me about it. There are two events here. The 5th annual Children's Grief Center of the Great Lakes Bay region, Grit Your Grief, Run the Runway.
Absolutely.
And then there's also Flying Pancakes, which is get your jet and your plane and fly into MBS and have pancakes. I'm guessing that there may be other options. But let's talk
Yes.
about the first. Let's talk about the 5K. And will Jonathan Dent win his age group this year?
Yes. How's that, Jonathan?
I think I'll be there, but I don't know.
So our 5K, it is the 5th annual. It's our 3rd year out at MBS International Airport. Big shout out to James Canders, director of the MBS International, for his support and helping us make this happen. The 5K itself is a run walk, and it happens on the main taxiways and on a portion of the main runway. James was able to get FAA and TSA approval to make this happen. The one main, or I should leave that to James to say main runway or not, but one of the runways stays active, so there'll still be airplanes coming in and out, which will be part of the pancake flying that I'll talk about shortly. But running out on the runway and on the taxiways is a completely new perspective. If you've never done that before, you really don't understand how big those runways are until you as a human are standing out there. It's pretty incredible. The course also takes you on the operations side of all of the hangars. You know, driving on Garfield Road, you usually just see the front, I guess the front backside. I guess I'm not sure of perspective, but when you see the operational side, it's pretty exciting. But beyond that, we have a color run, which doesn't happen on the runways. That happens outside in a grassy space. But we've tried to turn this into a family festival. So we have a color run. We have bounce houses. We have a kids zone. We have a DJ there. We will have the flying pancakes there. We also have a soda bus that it's going to be there too. So we're really excited about the event, May 17th.
Chris, we have a lot to unpack here.
There's
so
tons,
we're going to get into
tons
this, okay?
going on.
So first of all, no, I haven't run on a runway. When I'm on a runway, I try to stay in the plane.
Okay.
I like the door shut until it arrives at the terminal, and I stay seated until the flight attendant nicely says, and I hear the ding, and now I know that I can get up and move about the cabin. So I have not done that.
I could see a movie moment where you're chasing after a plane, though.
So no,
I could totally see that being something in your past.
Could be, but this time I'm gonna win. I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be told, hey, there's a plane coming in to land. You're gonna need to move your behind on that runway, or you're gonna get run over. Like, I don't know if running on the active runway is the move. I'm gonna tell you, believe it or not, no judgment, but I've run a share of 5Ks.
Sure.
I have seen people go off course all the time. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, suddenly cut down the wrong road. They're suddenly through a field. They ran right instead of going left. They zig versus zagged. Are we a little worried that, Bob from Freeland is just going to run left and be in front of the United Airlines jet? Is the insurance paid on this one?
Yes, the insurance is paid, number one. But number two, I am happy to report to the entire Great Lakes Bay region that we haven't had that happen. And I won't say yet. We do have volunteers. We have volunteers out at every turn. James also has airport personnel out there too to ensure that we're not veering off of the course. So there's lots of people to help the runners get where they need to be.
Okay, so let's keep unpacking here. You said something about soda?
I did. Yes.
Is it a soda truck? What do we have out there?
It is my Michigan soda. I don't know. They're brand new. They're a brand new organization, a brand new business. They have a soda bus, and they're going to be there serving their, I believe the term is dirty sodas, but they take soda and then they mix it up with different flavors and so on, and they'll be there as well.
Yes, let's do this.
Yes.
So then the last
Forgive
one
me,
I have,
guys, if I forgot your business name. I just met them the other day.
Oh, no,
So-
totally fine. And I will tell you, I'm a giant fan of any 5K that ends with beverages. My favorite is St. Stan's.
Oh, I bet it
Because when
is.
you're on the 5K, you go into the beer tent,
Yeah.
and then you get a big frosty brew and a Polish sausage with kraut and some pierogi. Fantastic way to end a 5K.
That's a great way to do it.
So tell me about flying pancakes.
Flying
Are the
pancakes.
pancakes flying? Like, do the pancakes actually, do they have wings? Do they fly across the room? Do I fly in on the corporate jet and then eat pancakes? What are flying pancakes, y'all?
Yeah, Chris's Cakes is coming in, and their whole shtick is to throw the pancakes at you, and so you're supposed to catch your pancakes, and it's kids love it. You got to catch it. They have every time they try to break the record for throwing the longest pancake. So
So you could be the one, Matt. If you catch
You
your
could.
pancakes, you
Yeah.
could break the record.
So I have a question. A friend of the show and a friend of the Great Lakes Bay Region Alliance, Martin Jaliga, the airborne angler, can he fly his plane in that day and come in and have pancakes? Is that part of the day where people can fly in and actually have pancakes? And do people do it?
Yeah, it is. And that was actually the inspiration for this idea. Every year we try and think of something new for this event. Because we can't change the course really, because we're fixed in what the course is. We try and think of something new. And credit to James and actually Courtney Page previously. They thought of a fly-in pancake breakfast, which is pilots like to do that. They look for excuses to fly, and this is one of the big draws for pilots. And so the idea for the fly-in pancake breakfast was pursued. That's how we got connected with Chris's Cakes, and we've been publicizing it to area EAAs. I know James has put it out at lots of airports that this is happening. I'm trying to think what else was I going to say about that. I don't know. I guess, yeah. It's just
Your
the flying
timing's
pancake
great
guys.
because we have
That's
to go
it.
to
We have
commercial, so we can
Okay,
regroup.
sounds
But
good.
two things for our listeners out there. One, if you know Chris Eastlick, make sure you know I'm looking for him. And two, now if any of you know Marty, the airborne angler, make sure he knows he is requested to fly in on May 17th to MBS for flying pancakes. He's expected to be there now. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. It's Matt Fallon with the Great Lakes Bay Region Alliance, joined today by Chris Sabrin and Gabby Gauthier with the Children's Grief Center of the Great Lakes Bay Region. And let's go back to talking about soda.
Perfect. Thank you.
Tell me about the soda company.
So, I apologize to my friends at My Soda Parlor is the name of their business. They're going to be there. So
Don't apologize, because you know why? Now we're all talking about My Soda Parlor over and over again. And so the whole world's getting to know much more. You can go to misodaparlor.com.
That's
You can
it.
also find them on Facebook, where they craft refreshing, high-quality sodas that blend flavor with creativity. So very cool entity that's going to be out. So, Gabby, for folks who want to get involved in this event, how do they register for the 5K? Or if you're Jonathan Dent and Matt Fallon and you don't own a jet or have a corporate jet, how can we go out and eat flying pancakes?
Yeah, you can go to our website, childrensgriefglbr.org. We also have a Facebook, which has all the links. We are pushing it, obviously, very hard. So you will see lots of posts on everything that we are offering that day. And for the pancakes, you do not have to have a plane. If you'd like to attend, you can drive your way over to the airport, and we will be there. You'll see all of our signs waiting for you.
You know what I think we should add to this? I'm adding to it for the 6th. They don't know this right now, but we're adding cool things. I think for the 6th annual one, you should do a competition where people bring toy planes from home. Whether it's a model, whether it's like the little plane from Plane, something that's cool. If there's something they all have at home for some reason, could be a Christmas ornament, you name it. We all have some kind of cool plane-related something, right?
Right.
Why don't we add that next year? And then, maybe your presenting sponsor, who those guys look like something else from Alpha Media, could be the judges of the plane contest for this next year. Who's in?
That sounds pretty fun.
Sure. Sounds good.
And then we can post on, do we have Instagram too?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're going to post pictures on Instagram. We're going to be on Facebook. People are going to bring in toy models and cool things, and we're going to do a whole plane thing. What about, I'm going to keep adding to your event, what about a paper plane throwing contest as part of the event as well?
That would be an interesting idea. There's a nice big grassy space out there away from the secure fence. I'm sure James wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, or while we're doing pancakes inside and people are eating, there's just pancakes, pancakes flying and paper planes flying all over the place.
Sounds good to me. I think it sounds like, Gabby, we have a new event chair sitting right next to us,
think
right
so.
here.
And Jonathan is going to be happy to do that. You are right. He's sitting right here, right next to you.
Across
He will
the
do a
next to you.
fantastic job as your event chair.
There we
I think
go.
that's a great ask to make of Jonathan for next year. And with that, this is the last time Chris and Gabby are ever coming on the show when Matt is here creating more work and more events. So I want to zip back out to the 50,000 foot level and talk a little bit more about the organization.
Sure.
So do you have brick and mortar location? And if so, where are you located?
So our home office is in Midland. Actually, it's right next to Costco, pretty close. That's where we hold our Midland groups. The other two groups in Bay and Saginaw County, we rent space. So in Saginaw County, we rent space from the Mid-Michigan Children's Museum, and they are amazing partners. We hold our groups after their business hours, and they allow us to use the entire building. So that playtime that I talked about before, the kids have the opportunity to play in the museum. In Bay County, we are at Unity of Bay City, and although Unity is a faith-based organization, we are not. But the building works out great for us because it's an old previous elementary school. So there's lots of green space. There's lots of nice big rooms for us to use. And one of our volunteers actually recommended that we look into that building. So we rent space from Unity Bay City and in Michigan Children's Museum with our home office in Midland.
So, Gabby, let's talk about the boss in front of him, not behind his back. How many staff members do we have at the organization right now?
We have 5. So our volunteers and our interns are a huge asset to the team. They really keep us going.
Yeah, and what are the various staffers? Who are they and what do they do?
So I have Lexi. She is our school grief support specialist. So she is new as of last year. She is heading up the school program and really, was monumental in extending us into those 55 buildings we mentioned. We have Stephanie, who she's the program and office coordinator, but she does a little bit of everything. We like to call her the miscellaneous person. And then Holly Etzel is our admin coordinator. So she does all the money stuff.
So one of the things I love that you talk about is volunteers. Mm-hmm. What is your need for volunteers right now? How many folks you're looking for? What kind of skills and talents? And people that are listening and they want to engage in this, what do they do?
They can contact us, go to our website, go to our Facebook, call the office. We are always looking for volunteers to help in groups, help with the big events like the 5K. We have a camp coming up in the summer on July 12th that we would love to have volunteers for. We have volunteers that, help in the building, help organizing if they don't really want to work, they don't feel like they're ready to work with kids. But we have a training coming up in June to be trained to work with the kids on how to reflective listen and just be able to hold space for those families.
Great. And Chris, question for people that don't know. How are you funded? Is it 100% private donations? Do you get any government funding or grants? And just how is the organization established? Are you a C3? It's helpful for people to know how they're getting involved with an organization.
Absolutely. So we are an official 501c3 nonprofit organization, completely funded by grants, sponsorships, donations, and we do not get any federal funds. So everything is the grants that we write are from private foundations or other family foundations. And like I said, sponsorships and donations are the way we run the organization at this time.
So one thing that I do love about you guys is that you're a regional organization. Mm-hmm. So one week going into Isabella County, when's the expansion, Chris?
Well, they're on our radar. So Isabella County is on our radar, and the Flint area has reached out to us for some support too. So we're trying to figure out how to support both to the south and to the west.
Well, we're going to take one more break, and then we'll be back with our final segment of the Art Lewis Show.
Hey, it's Charlie Rood here.
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center. Visit them at 5789 State Street in Saginaw or online at westsidedecoratingcenter.com. So this is the final segment of our show today. It's Matt Fallon, Jonathan Dent here filling in for Art, and we're joined today by Chris and Gabby from the Children's Grief Center of the Great Lakes Bay region. been chatting about their big day coming up on May 17th. So, Chris, for people who are listening, want to make sure that we're reiterating, this is a fundraiser.
Absolutely.
Is this your biggest event of the year?
It is. It's our biggest one.
So, cost to eat pancakes, how much?
$10. But it's
$10.
all you can eat. All you can eat, all you can catch, all you can get to the table and go ahead and eat.
Wow.
And there's actually pancakes, sausage, syrup, coffee, and you're old enough. You remember Tang, right?
Oh, God, yeah. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
They
It's
serve
orange.
that, too.
Didn't the astronauts drink that?
It is. Yeah, that's all
I'm in.
part of the
Let's
menu.
Go. Hey, thanks for calling me old today
Hey.
while we haven't you on the show. I mean,
I think we're the
I
same
needed
vintage,
that reminder.
Matt. I think
Hey,
we're okay.
Thanks for that, Chris. Appreciate it.
Are the all-you-can-eat pancakes after the running of the 5K?
Actually, before and after. And I should
Before
mention
and
they
after.
start at 7:30 in the morning. So the pancake starts at 7:30. 5K starts at 10. So you can eat before or you can eat after. Pancakes will be around till 2 p.m.
Okay, runners in the Great Lakes Bay region. This is your trainer, Matt Flan, strongly encouraging you to eat the pancakes and drink the Tang after the 5K. Unless you're like Bridget Staffolino level runner, I'm going to need you to follow that advice. And then how much is it to be part of the run and walk?
So the 5K itself, at this time, early registration is $35 for the run walk. The color run is $20 a participant, but if you have a family of 4, we'll give you a discount and it'll be $60 for the family.
And what if you do this just like maybe I did my entire collegiate career and are the ultimate procrastinator and decide the days ahead of the event that you're doing this? What's the cost?
$45 at the door. So go ahead and show up. We will definitely get you what you need to get on the runway. And I know it'll be a beautiful weather day, so we'll need as many people out there as we can get.
So remember, folks, for all those that complain about the procrastinators in your life, we're the people that end up giving 20% more to charity because we sign up for the day or day beforehand. So
There you go.
You're welcome that we're there to procrastinate till the very last second and decide that that's what we're going to do.
Matt, we appreciate all of those people.
We work for
than
you.
know. I know. I
love
appreciate
it.
you all. Absolutely.
So when you look at the organization, you're kind of one of those organizations that we look at and go, gee, we wish you didn't have to exist, right? We wish that you actually just didn't have to be here. But the reality is you're an organization that's always going to be here because death is a part of life. It is going to impact all of us personally. It's a great equalizer, right? We're all going to pass and we all lose loved ones through time. Gabby, I'm going to turn to you on this because you said at the start that grief has been an important part of your life in terms of this is what you do, and you thought you were going to work for hospice. It worked here. It's a very heavy subject, right? And it's very difficult, and you're working with kids who are upset who may have lost a parent or a grandparent or someone that they're very close to, right?
Yeah.
How do you find the energy every single day to go and tackle this, and how do you yourself sometimes maybe don't get overrun by emotion yourself, or just, I'm sure you get close to some of these kids and you really connect with them and get to know them and you see them hurting. How do you yourself, as someone who works in this space, work through that every day and continues? For the fact that you can do this for 7 years is amazing. So thank you to you. But how do you every day get that motivation to help these kids overcome and to you yourself kind of keep an even keel?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I think a lot of it is, obviously self-care, right? Taking care of myself, making sure I have my own support system. But I think part of it is flipping the perspective on working with these kids who are grieving. That, every time we introduce ourselves and we say our name, our age, our person, our people who died, and our favorite rule, and a lot of times there's a rule that's I passed. Kids don't have to talk if they don't want to. But the first time that a child says that their dad died after, coming for a couple weeks and they haven't said one word, it's a moment to celebrate, which is not something that you'd expect, as I say, in the real world. But like in our group setting, it's so exciting for them to be able to get that fact out of their body and start that step towards a healing process. I don't think you're ever actually healed, but being able to talk about it openly is so powerful. So to be able to just connect with those kids and give them an outlet, I think is what keeps me going here.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that full circle because,
Yeah.
The people like yourself who work on this day in, day out, who are, on the ground level, working directly with the kids and the family members. This is a big deal that you work on this. So thank you for bringing it full